Hello and welcome back to another Retro Restorations video, and in this one I thought I'd tell you a really boring story about how I was almost on TV, how I've kind of been on TV, and also getting recognised in public. So the first one's the most interesting and that's what spurred the video on, and then I'm just going to add the extra bits on. So if you remember back a few videos ago, I had a couple of really fantastic space items. One was this one here. It's like a 1 metre tall Saturn V rocket, and the other was this really lovely Apollo lunar module here. Both of them are ex-museum loan items, so they'd be loaned out to schools if they were doing a topic, and they were used to help like with the teaching, you know, you draw it or it's a physical training aid, days before the internet. So I'd done a video on these items and then I'd put them up for sale, usual places, and I got an email from a guy called Parker who kind of reached out and just said, "Hi, I'm Parker, I'm an assistant producer for Ricochet Productions, who make the repair shop and the bidding room." So the bidding room is one where people take items on and they get told a little bit about it by Nigel Havers, another expert, and then they go into another room and there's four dealers who then like offer to try and buy the item, and they get it or not. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but basically it was for that rather than the repair shop, which people know a little bit more about. So he said he's an assistant producer there. He'd seen the rocket, and they're always on the lookout for interesting items. Would I be interested in going on the show? So I kind of thought, yeah, you know what, I wouldn't mind at all. So I messaged back, said, yeah, I'm kind of free, I can come up, that kind of thing. And he said, yeah, no worries. Told me just as long as I wasn't a professional and I was free, he put someone in touch to do a telephone interview. So about a week or so later on, I had a chat with a really lovely girl. Basically the process was to ask me a bit more about the items, where I got them from, which I was honest about. I'm like, I went to an auction house, really liked them and got them, roughly how much I bought them for, and then and a little bit about me. And then what they then do is they then go and talk to the production company to see if it's an item they want to feature, like is it going to make good TV, and then they actually go and talk to the experts to see if any of them would be interested on bidding on the item, and if they are interested, or at least one of them, and it's a good item, then you go on the show to film. So when you watch the TV show and they kind of do a reveal and they always seem to know what the item is, they already know what's coming, right? Because they've already been given they've already been approached as to whether they'd be interested. So anyway, so I had a telephone interview and I waited, and the block of filming's just gone now, and she got in touch and basically said, unfortunately I only made the reserve list, but if someone dropped off, you go up to Edinburgh to film, they'll pay your expenses, and you just get a block of filming, and unless you mess up, then you're pretty much guaranteed to make the TV show. But yeah, I only made the reserve list, and that's what made it really disappointing for me, because you know, if you apply to something, you know there's a chance that you might not get on. But if someone approaches you and says, why don't you apply, you kind of think, okay, yeah, I will, and it gets your hopes up. So that was a bit disappointing. And anyway, that would have been the end of that story, but then I've had another couple of bits that I thought I'd throw in, which were quite funny. So the other one is like throwing back to when occasionally I go to antiques fairs, and one of them that I go to is Newark Antiques Fair. It's quite a large one, it moves around, it's kind of every 2-ish months. And I was there just having a browse around like I do, and that's where they film episodes of Bargain Hunt. If you've seen that one, that's where two teams of contestants go on. They have an hour and they run around and they buy 3 items. One of them is kind of a challenge item, and then one of them has to be a certain amount of money. What they'll do is they'll film 2 episodes on the Saturday, they'll film 2 episodes on the Sunday, and then they will then chop it in throughout a series so it's not super obvious that it was at the same time. And I've seen them twice before, so once filming kind of in summertime and one in winter time, different experts, and they're, depending on the experts, they're usually quite approachable, so you can just go over and say hi, take a selfie, say that you enjoy the show, because I've been watching the show now since like 2015, so almost 10 years I've watched the programme just for a bit of entertainment. Yeah, so they're really kind. It's just like in between, and what they're doing is they actually do only have an hour, so if they're doing reshoots or anything, they stop the clock. So there's a camera, a crew, So like a runner, someone doing the clock, the expert. So let's say they go up and then they're like, oh, just hand that back. They've stopped the clock, so they really do have an hour to do it. And what I did was, after I'd had a chat, I thought, you know what, I'll just get my face in. So I would just kind of just walk, you just walk across in the background. And they also said that they're more than happy that if the contestants are looking at something, you can kind of sidle up nearby and have a look if you really want. So I'll put some pictures in. But in one of the episodes, I'm in about 6 times in about the first 2 minutes, and then the other one, I didn't even make it in. So that was the time I was kind of on TV. And then finally is just bumping into people who stumbled across my channel, which is really heartwarming. So first one was just a guy at work the other day. He's like, yeah, he goes, oh Sam, I've stumbled across your channel. I said, oh really? He's like, yeah, I'm into my retro gaming, and I was just watching some videos, one came up, and I recognised the voice, and obviously I do have quite a distinctive voice, a little bit monotone, which I'm working on. And so he was like, he noticed the voice, and then he realised it was me, and it was the video when I'm showing off my games consoles in the background. So that was quite funny. But then even more so, I went to a wedding last night as a +1, wasn't friends of mine. So I went along, met like friends of friends. We sat there chatting, and I'm wearing like one of these, like one of these Casio TV watches. This is one, again, I've done a restoration on this one. It was a full, in fact this was a retro brighten as well. Took it all apart and retro brightened it and rebuilt it all. So I was wearing that. Get chatting to a really nice guy, and he's like, oh, I spotted the watch. I recently got one myself. It's a slightly different version. What he's alluding to was this one here. So I showed him a picture and said, that's probably this one. Yeah, really nice watch, one of my favourite things. And he's like, yeah, I got it, I couldn't get it working. And then his wife kind of went, yeah, he couldn't get it working. I had to watch this guy on YouTube where he did a demo of like how to set it all up, and I got it sorted out for him. And I was like, oh right, wouldn't that be funny if that was me? They scrolled back through their history on YouTube, and it was actually the video where I'm sat in front of that cathode ray there doing a demonstration of how to set it up. So I've never met these people before. We just get chatting, and it just so happens that they've been like watching one of my videos, which is really weird. Because like I say, I've only just gone through 1,000 subscribers, and for people to kind of like totally unplanned just bump into people is really weird. But I guess maybe that's just because what I do is fairly niche. Although lots of people do retro stuff, and it's really saturated, which is, I think, you know, as I'm starting out, it's quite hard to gain any traction. But I think the blend that I do things, I do the repair stuff, I do the sales stuff, means that sometimes I put content out there that not everyone puts out. It might be, you know, I just get an interesting item and I'm starting doing videos on them. So rather than just, you know, a lot of channels where they just try out the same stuff, sometimes they don't even own the content, they're just sharing photos of things. But yeah, for a small channel, for that to happen, that was really weird and really funny. So yeah, basically three quick stories about how I was almost on TV, which is a shame, and I think I'll probably apply to similar type programs in the future because it's given me the idea now. The time I was kind of on TV in the background for Bargain Hunt, and then bumping into people just out and about who've like stumbled on my channel, which was really nice. If anything else funny crops up, I'll let you know. Equally, I'll probably start off here. If people are interested in the journey, kind of behind the scenes, going to auction houses, growing a business, like registering business, any of that kind of stuff. If you're interested, let me know and I'll make videos on it. If not, I won't bother because like I've only got so much time as it is. But if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It does help me out. I am only a small channel, so the support is really welcome. Until the next one, all the best, take care and see you.